Want to hear something wild? Uber says fares here could jump by 70% if a proposed cap on ride-hailing permits goes through, and up to 40% of peak hour bookings could fail. We'll unpack why that matters in a bit.
Hi, I'm Leah.
And I'm Garrett.
Welcome to Laid Back Local, the news of the day with Leah and Garrett from Hong Kong. First up, weather you can feel the second you step outside. Hong Kong just logged its hottest day of the year so far. The Hong Kong Observatory in Tsim Sha Tsui hit 31.6 degrees Celsius, and parts of the New Territories pushed past 33 degrees Celsius. The observatory says it's because of an anticyclone aloft, which is a high-pressure system sitting over us that keeps skies clear and warm air locked in. In simple terms, sunny, still, and sizzling. If you're commuting or walking the kids to school, plan for shade and water. Fine weather is great, but this heat does sneak up on you. And yes, it's mid-May, and this early spike does raise those climate questions for a lot of us.
Yeah, that checks out. 33 degrees plus in parts of the New Territories is like seriously toasty. Urban areas heat up fast because of the urban heat island effect, which just means concrete and glass soak up daytime heat and release it slowly at night. Layer on a strong high-pressure lid overhead, and you've basically got a heat trap. Long term, this is one of those climate trend reminders. Hotter days come more often, and cities feel it first. All right, let's roll on. On a more sobering note, next up, a tough one. Police arrested 2 women on suspicion of animal cruelty after a 3-month-old golden retriever puppy was found in a rubbish bin, soaked in sewage and chili oil. A street cleaner found the pup on May 10th. The SPCA, that's the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, stepped in, and officers reviewed CCTV, meaning security camera footage, to track suspects. Arrests followed on May 11. The puppy had terminal canine distemper, a severe viral disease with no cure once it's advanced, so vets had to euthanize to end the suffering. The animal had no identification microchip. The investigation by the animal crime team is ongoing.
That one gave me chills, real talk. Cruelty like that is deeply upsetting. What stands out is the cooperation between police and the SPCA, which is essential in cases like this. But also, why? Why would anyone do that to a sick puppy?
We don't have that answer yet. Motive hasn't been stated, and with the case under investigation, details are limited. What we do know is that quick reporting, CCTV checks, and vet care all kicked in fast, which matters when you're trying to get to the bottom of it.
Okay, let's move on. Over to Tai Po and housing. Wong Fuk Court residents are set to receive a refund of about 127 million Hong Kong dollars after that deadly fire. Hop On Management Company, which is the government-appointed administrator overseeing the estate, laid this out in a Zoom meeting earlier this month. That followed a petition from more than 240 owners calling for an extraordinary general meeting, basically a special owners' meeting to address urgent matters. The renovation project for the estate totals about 336 million Hong Kong dollars, so the refund is a substantial slice. But the process involves verifying a lot of paperwork, from ownership records to payment histories, so compensation could take time. Translation, it's not just cutting checks, they have to confirm who's owed what before money moves.
That's a solid point. The scale here is surprising. 127 million is no small refund. Disaster recovery is never neat. You've got displaced owners, safety fixes, finances, and trust to rebuild. Clarity and realistic timelines will matter a lot for folks trying to plan their next steps. Let's switch it up. On the politics and courts front, China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has reiterated support for Hong Kong's judiciary, that's our court system, and dismissed calls to release Jimmy Lai ahead of a visit by U.S. President Donald Trump to China. Lai is the founder of the now-closed Apple Daily newspaper, and he's serving a 20-year sentence for national security offenses linked to the 2019 protests. Today's statement underscores Beijing's firm stance on the city's judicial setup and outcomes. When officials reference judicial independence, they mean courts making decisions based on law, free from outside pressure. That's the framing presented alongside the statement of support.
That's close to the heart of it. The timing is notable, coming right before a high-profile U.S. visit. It points to the diplomatic tensions around this case, and it keeps the focus firmly on Hong Kong's courts in the international conversation. Last up, transport and your wallet. Uber warns that a proposed permit cap could send ride-hailing fares up by as much as 70%. The government has put a regulatory framework to the Legislative Council, which is Hong Kong's lawmaking body, suggesting a cap between 10,000 and 15,000 permits. A permit cap is just a hard limit on how many licenses are allowed. Think of it as a quota, a fixed maximum number. Uber says that if the cap lands on the lower end, up to 40% of peak hour bookings could be unsuccessful, and it could cut its roughly 30,000 active drivers by as much as half. The company argues the cap doesn't reflect rising demand. On the government side, Secretary for Transport and Logistics Mabel Chan, who oversees transport policy, says there is no specific preference for the final quota yet, and that officials will consider the impact on the taxi industry as they fine-tune the numbers.
That's a curveball. 40% failed bookings at peak would hit riders hard with longer waits and drivers with fewer shifts and income. For sure, caps can reduce supply. Reduced supply often pushes prices up. Why set a cap at all?
The stated goal is to regulate the sector and balance it with the taxi industry while trying to maintain service quality. In simple terms, keep things orderly and fair across providers. The open question is whether a fixed cap fits future demand. That's what lawmakers will be debating as they weigh data from riders, drivers, and taxis.
Thanks for tuning in to Laid Back Local, the news of the day, with Leah and Garrett from Hong Kong. Have a great day, and we'll catch you tomorrow.